Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu Hour. My name is Stefanis Kokis. We're back from a long hiatus. With me, as always, Cody Tuttle, Mike Mihas. Joining us later will be Tommy Costa, Emile Fisher. Tonight's the great debate about belts and ranks. Before we get into that and bring Emile on, we'll do some quick catching up with you guys. What's been going on?
Nothing, man. Absolutely nothing jiu-jitsu related. After the Kumite, I've pretty much been MIA at the gym, and I'm okay with that because the weather's really nice. Got a couple dogs. There's my dog right now, and we've just been enjoying the great outdoors. Tommy, on the other hand, he took his gym outside today and did something that looked really, really cool. I don't know if you guys saw that or not.
Yeah, that was sweet. That was taking the mats outside is that was today was a perfect day. The next couple of days will be really nice. So today's the day to do that.
Yeah, I saw that and I got pretty jealous. I thought that was a pretty awesome idea. I guess it was a secret spot or something like that. I don't know where he took his guys. Hopefully he gets on the air later and lets us know.
Yeah,
but he might keep it a secret still.
I want to hit one of those mats up. It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I was thinking about taking like mats down to the lake and doing that, but I don't know how the locals are going to look at me. So.
I see a lot of pictures of like guys doing barimbalos and crazy jiu-jitsu stuff in airports or random places that jiu-jitsu doesn't belong. So it'd probably go over just about as well as any of that.
Did you ever see that video of Cyborg? They're at Josh Hayden's gym, and he does a seminar on a dock. Have you seen that video?
Really? No, I've never seen that.
They're like right at the edge of a dock, and they have to keep stopping so they don't fall into the water. It's pretty sweet. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the
people in it. It's a Cyborg seminar down in Miami.
There's the Origin camp. They've had a camp like every year for the past like 2 or 3 years or something like that. It's in August every year, and they have some sort of summer camp in Maine, and it looks awesome. Like they rent like a part of the camp. There's a huge lake. They do like a lobster cookout and stuff like that. It looks.
Oh, your buddy's at that one.
Awesome.
What's his name? Your buddy's at that does that one.
Popolo.
No, the other guy.
Who's the other guy?
The guy that was the creepy eye guy. What's his name?
Creepy eye guy.
I don't know the creepy eye guy.
The black belt that from. He was just on Rolled Up. What was his name? I can't remember.
I don't know. I haven't been watching too much Rolled Up lately.
The guy has all the videos of brown, white through black. What's his name? Yeah, that's it. Roy Dean. Yeah, that's his.
The creepy
eye guys. I don't think the guy's creepy. Just his eyes are like creepy eye. So, yeah, Roy Dean.
Last
I don't know why I made
party.
It point, but...
Last party I had, we dragged the mounts outside, and a lot of people like that. Fun time.
So I'm picking up a little bit of static.
You might be hearing my fan in the background.
It's only when you're talking, and I'm not hearing you as clear as Mike is.
Hold on. Might be your internet connection. I don't know.
I don't know when Mike's talking, it sounds okay. That's the only thing I got. Mike, did you get the Worlds stream?
Yes, I did. I got it. I just got
results?
Sunday. Say that again.
What did you think of the black belt results?
I liked it. I think that Meow got screwed with Bruno. I also think that there was another controversial match who else I think got screwed.
Was it the Tim Spriggs Keenan match?
Yeah, I think Tim Spriggs I think he got screwed also. I still think that there is still some political things being played with the refs and the IBJJF tournament directors. There's still some favoritism towards the Brazilians. I don't know. I think Tim Spriggs won that match. So
there's a lot of upsets though.
Yes, there was. Who got hurt?
Buchecha. That was
Buchecha.
Which opened up the heavyweight a little bit.
Yeah, I really don't think anyone anticipated Buchecha losing. Not only losing, but he got hurt in the process. Props to Evangelista for pulling off that huge upset. A lot of the other matches I think went pretty much as planned. I certainly didn't have the correct number of predictions that I had for the Pans. In fact, I wasn't sure about a lot of the divisions, so I didn't even bother writing something up. But I, I'm really glad Claudio Calasan's finally won
Yes.
his first world title.
Yes.
I've been waiting for him to do it basically ever since Marcelo stopped competing at the Worlds in the gi, and it took him quite some time.
And he looked pretty happy too.
Yeah.
He looked pretty stoked up there. He looked pretty.
I mean, I think everybody's, like he was like the number 2 guy behind Marcelo. So like Marcelo retired, and you expect him to win, and then he just couldn't pull it off. It took some time, but he finally made it happen.
I was happy with Fario's performance. I mean,
Oh,
he
man.
brought the armbar. He was armbarring everyone. I mean,
What a beast!
when you armbar low, you're just
Yeah.
you're sick. When you are,
Didn't he
I know
armbar
it's
with the
I know it's
pants,
open weight. I know it's open weight, but still, when you armbar low, you're just your jiu-jitsu is ridiculous. It's not of this world.
Didn't Faria armbar low at the pans too?
Yes.
Yeah, that's crazy. So it's
Wait,
not
wait, no, did he armbar the pants or did he choke?
I
Oh,
don't.
I think he choked him.
Okay.
With his gi, with his lapel.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he. But still, two submissions, 2 matches with Leandro Lowe. He might be the only guy that's able to say that that's happened. I'd have to pull up some jiu-jitsu statistics, and it's just not that important. I'm going to go ahead and say that Fury is probably the only guy that's done that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you're correct on that.
Someone can correct me if I am wrong. I won't be offended.
We heard.
And we know who will that be. That would be O'Brien.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I hope he's listening so he can correct us whenever we're wrong tonight.
James O'Brien, if I am incorrect, send me a message.
James or Bill?
Bill.
Oh, Bill O'Brien. Oh, yeah. Okay. Either James, Bill.
Yeah, either of them.
Brothers.
James or Bill.
God.
Incorrect.
You just
James
lost
is the
our
first
super
O'Brien
fan.
that popped into my head.
All right. Tommy said he's on. I don't see him.
All right.
Tommy's ready.
I got him.
Let's get him in here.
Got him.
And I'll bring Emile on in a minute. I told him 8:15 and it's 8:12. So we also saw immediate DQs for accidental heel hooks or whatever, or knee reaps.
Well, there was a controversial one.
Yeah, there was Jared Dopp in the brown belt division.
Jared Dopp, yeah. Which I'd like to see that match before I say it's controversial, because a lot of people, when they lose, they get heated and they go right on social media. And then you see the match, and you're like, oh, did he lose? Did he,
Yeah, but his coach posted it right after. He didn't.
Well, of course, his coach is gonna post. I would post the same thing.
Yeah.
Yo, boys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we hear
Hey,
you.
Tommy.
Can you see me?
No,
I
you
don't
don't.
see you.
I
But
see
we
a
hear you.
white guy with shoulders, which is the Skype guy.
I want to check your video setting under tools. Oh,
Here
you go.
It's coming.
How's my audio sound? Sound better?
Still a little staticky, but I can.
Now I can hear your fan. I can hear your fan.
Well, I'm sitting back pretty far.
I can hear it though, pretty good. Sounds like a train. Slowly going. Oh.
Are you hot?
Your video wants to come, Tommy.
Trying.
The thing's spinning.
So we did the kumite. That was a
Real
success.
saucy, boys.
No, almost clearing the throat. Yeah, the Kumite was awesome. We had a good time. That was we had a nice feedback on it. Those were some great matches, and that absolute was awesome. Watching a 13-year-old
Tear through some of the best around here.
and meet his brother, his 19-year-old brother in the finals. That's pretty cool. 13-year-old and 19-year-old enter absolute, and they meet in the finals, and they split the money. That's pretty cool.
If
There you go.
if you haven't seen that one, check our YouTube page, the BJJ Hour on YouTube. There's the match is titled 13-year-old enters absolute division and taps everybody, and then there's 13-year-old enters the absolute division and taps everybody. Match number 1. So those are both on there. Tommy, what's going on, man? You still out in the wilderness?
Outside, very nice.
Yeah, we see you out there. Can you hear us?
Hello.
We-
Sort of.
We hear you.
I'm coming in and out, boys. Sorry.
Your
Well,
voice is a little low.
we're since we're all here, we're gonna get Emile in here.
Bring it. Yeah.
Kick this off.
I love the outdoor studio, Tommy. That's pretty dope. I love the beer too.
It might not work. I might have to go in closer to my router, even though it's like right on the other side of the wall.
We can hear you.
I might have to.
Now you sound pretty good.
Yeah, that sounds.
Yo.
Emile.
Hey.
Is
Hey, what's up?
in here. Brandon?
Oh man, someone who has YouTube up. Someone turn YouTube off. Mute it. Lost Tommy. Emile, you still there?
Yep, I'm here.
All right, cool.
I don't see Emile. What's up, Emile?
Hold on, let me enable video.
Make sure to turn down the YouTube thing too.
Yeah, I turned it off.
All right, cool.
I can see you guys. Can you see me yet?
No.
Not yet.
You're the star of the show, Emile. We have to see you.
Yes, of course.
The star and Tommy's going on an adventure.
I can see that.
Tommy, just walk the trail through the woods with your laptop.
Testing.
So nothing.
Looks like we've got a lot of YouTube video trimming to
what?
do. This is done.
Wait, there you go. Yeah, we see you now.
There he is.
Hey.
What's up, Emile?
Hey, how's it going?
All right, so we got everybody.
I'll be right back.
All right.
We lost Tommy.
Well, Emile, why don't you take a
We got
minute?
Emile.
Take a minute to introduce yourself.
All right, my name is Emile Fisher. I train out of Strong Style. Name is Brasa. My coach is Pablo Castro. He's pretty awesome. My team's pretty awesome. I am a competitor. I actively compete. I've been training off and on for quite a few years. I did my first class back in 1999. I took a lot of time off in between, so don't get anything like that twisted up. But I've been training for a while, and I'm a sponsored competitor under Pony Club Grappling Gear. Shout out. That's pretty much it. I also write. I write for Jiu-Jitsu Times, Jiu-Jitsu Magazine. I just did my first article for them. Texas MMA, GearReviews.net, and I did a guest piece for you guys a while back.
Yeah, it was very nice.
So how'd you get started with all the the different online publications for jiu-jitsu? How did you get started doing that?
Actually, a funny story. I was trolling someone on Facebook, just doing the whole internet troll thing, and one of the editors was reading the string and thought it was kind of funny, and added me as a Facebook friend, and we started talking, and he asked me to write an article, and it's all kind of ancient history from there.
Now you said where did you start training in '99 at?
There was actually a guy around this area, around the Cleveland area. His name is Jonathan Glasroth. Was Josh Lauber's training partner. Josh Lauber is now the head of Helsing Gracie San Antonio. And Josh is from Shaker Heights originally, and this guy was his training partner when he'd come back up here to visit, and this guy used to show some stuff. Let's put it that way.
I've actually trained at that gym in San Antonio. I have family down there. I've been there before.
Okay.
What was the guy's first name again? Jason?
Josh.
Josh. I think I met him that day. I mean, I was on vacation, so I was like probably a little bit drunk and sunburnt, but it was a good time.
I interviewed the guy for Texas MMA a while back. He's a nice guy.
Emile, where else have you trained? Where else have you trained at?
Stop it.
When I first got to college, we had a BJJ club at my college. They would basically just do no-gi grappling.
Mm-hmm.
I'd go in there once every few months or so just to mess around. That was like back in 04, 05. Then when I moved back to Cleveland, I started out at Rio Pro. Trained over at Chris Chard's. I trained with Darren for a while, and I've been at Strong Style for about a year, and I'm very happy.
Seems like a super cool group of guys at Strong Style. Just from a fan perspective, you ever get to train with like Stipe or like any like the high profile guys out of Strong Style?
I've been able to roll with a couple of them. I rolled once with Stipe. It was a very, very humbling experience. He's a very strong man.
Yeah.
I also got to roll once with Matt Brown when he was up training with us, which was a lot of fun. He's got some crazy pressure. Cody Stevens and John Gunther. I've rolled with them on many occasions. Gunther's a beast.
Yeah.
And as is Cody. Cody's amazing. He fought Shinya Aoki a while back, and Shinya couldn't put him away, which is pretty amazing.
That is pretty amazing.
He's a tough guy.
Yeah, definitely. We saw him up at the Edinburgh tournament. He made it to the I guess it was the finals of the Gi Absolute. Maybe it was I don't really remember what was it, the finals. Yeah, he looked super good. I didn't know too much about him other than, hey, that guy fought Shinya Aoki. That's crazy. Here he is right now in a gi. So I thought it was pretty cool that he was doing the gi division. Looked really
That's
technical.
pretty sweet to have on your resume that you fought Shinya.
Yeah. Heck
That's
yeah.
pretty.
Especially if you don't get something broken in the process.
Yeah.
Because that dude is ruthless. That dude's ruthless. Like, he's going to break your shit off and not apologize later.
Yeah. Maybe flick you off.
Yeah, exactly.
Emile, when did you get your blue belt?
Got my blue belt back in November.
Was that from Pablo?
Yes.
How
Been there for a few months. What's that?
You were there for a few months and then got your. So did you get your belt off of like Pablo knew you had been training at other places? Is that how?
Well, I mean, there was that, and also I feel like when you roll, it kind of speaks for itself. You know, I do fairly well, and when I compete, I do fairly well, and might have been actually late October, come to think of it. To be precise.
That's cool. What any plans to compete in the upcoming future? Anything
I got a bunch. I'm thinking about doing the AGC no-gi round robin.
Mhm.
I'm definitely probably going to do Naga. I'm planning on doing Dion's tournament out in Toledo. Dion Thompson.
You're pretty active. You're pretty active on the competition.
Yo.
Welcome back.
Come back, Tommy. Tommy looks lost. Look at him. Tommy, can you hear us? Like, he almost looks spooked out. Poor Tommy. Oh, and he's doing crazy sounds. He's doing emojis.
Tommy, you okay over there?
You all right, Tommy? He looks flustered. It's all right. We'll get in there.
It looked like his face was so close to the screen as he's like
I think he's trying to get headphones
looking around
in.
with crazy eyes.
He has no audio. He just.
It's back. I got it. I'm good.
He's back. He's back. All right, he's back.
All right.
All right.
We all good?
So we were just talking about Tom. We were just talking about how Emile just got his blue belt last year. You said.
Yeah.
No, got it last year, but he has. So how many years altogether do you have? Do you think training?
If I were to combine it all together, I'd say about 5 years. But at least one of those years is like super sparse.
Superstar.
You know,
Yeah, I've had a couple of those years. I've had a couple of those years myself.
Like you train once in a year. Do you count that as a year? I don't know. I don't think so.
The last year and a half of my grappling career has been rather sparse, so I know exactly what that means.
Yeah.
Well,
I did a lot of striking in between too. Like I did Muay Thai and other stuff like that. I haven't done that in about 6 years now. So.
6 years now. So.
No.
Well, we made it. We had written a post about do belts matter, and Emile has a different let's say view on the subject.
A few minutes ago he admitted to trolling on the internet.
Yes. So he may have been trolling. We're gonna find out right now if he was
I'm
trolling.
convinced that he even cares about what he's got to say. I think he just trolled his way onto the show. But that's cool.
Right.
That takes effort. So
No, he's good. He's good at what he does. He definitely got our attention.
So you guys are debating. That is the plan, correct? That's what we brought you here for. I'm not big on like forcing my opinions on anybody, so I'm just going to yeah. So I'm going to leave that to these two guys, and Emile, that's you. You guys get to hash it out. What I'm going to do is I'm going to play moderator. And I was thinking about this a little bit ago. How does it sound if I give you guys like X number of minutes each to kind of like state your case, and then we can kind of go back and forth, like like the presidential debate, and hash it out that way. What do you think?
Sounds good.
How many minutes do you want each?
I can set the timer.
Yeah,
so
I was gonna set the timer and watch that.
timer right there.
I'm gonna like scream, bzzz,
Well,
and then you're
I
done.
feel like a 1 minute time limit per entry
Okay.
because otherwise we can wind up just rambling for a while and not really having enough time to respond to each other.
Okay.
You know,
I'm with that.
That sounds good.
We can just go back and forth for a minute. Do you want to? So, I don't want you to feel like you're getting double teamed, Emile. But how do we want this? How do we want this rotation to go? How do we want this rotation to go?
You might
I'll
have
go
to get
first.
double teamed. I mean, we've all
You
kind of
guys
talked.
figure it out. I'm gonna go tend to my dog real quick, and I will be back to moderate.
Well, we've all actually we've discussed as a group as far as the BJJ hours goes. We've kind of like, I don't think we've ever actually sat down and debated. I know I'm not sure if where Mike stands on this whole belt thing is where I stand or where Cody stands or where Stephanus stands. So we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out. I think that I have a unique perspective because I actually I run an academy, and so I'm on the other side of the promotion thing where I'm actually the one who has to look after people. So promotions mean something completely different to me as an instructor than it would be to just a practitioner. So.
okay. Can you guys bear with me for just a moment? I want to get a notepad so I can write notes while we're talking.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. Let's do that.
I forgot to do. I'll be right back.
That's
Not a
awesome.
problem.
Awesome.
I've
Hey,
got
you
a
guys-
tattoo, but I'm just drawing naughty photos of Mijas.
Yeah, I'm pretty much looking at Pornhub on here, so I'm not looking at Pornhub.
It's on the mats.com.
So maybe we could take a brief second here to talk a little bit about the Kumite Classic, give a little debrief. We had
we kind of did before you had your
before I snafu.
you had your hiatus.
Yeah, my dog decided to start drinking water right next to me. And yeah, she was ruining my moment in the spotlight, so I had to cut it out for a second.
Kumite was awesome. I had a good time. It was fun calling all the matches. We had some great matches. Gordon Ryan is a beast with that reverse triangle Kimura setup. Is
I'm still working on that move. Still not really getting it, but we'll figure it out.
It's hard to that Kimura to break it. You know, when you got the reverse triangle to break it off. It looks a lot. He made it look a lot easier.
Yes.
Than it equates to in a live.
You know, it looked like he was taking the shoulder like really
yanking it back
up in this direction, almost like, you know, putting some sort of crazy stretch on the shoulder joint.
Yeah,
instead of like putting it behind his back. I don't know. It was definitely different.
Yeah, I was getting to the point where I could go like get the grip and I would go pedal to the metal on it to try to stretch it, and I would just go and it just wouldn't go anywhere. So I'm doing something wrong. But
he was putting torque on the shoulder. He was, as Cody said, he was bringing it.
Yeah, bringing it back.
Maybe we'll do instructional for us.
And now I guess we're sort of still figuring out whether or not we're going to do it, but we might as well put the teaser out there. We're supposed to do the AGC in September, right?
Yes.
Beginning of September. I think we're not 100% on whether or not we're going to be there, but I feel like with the momentum we had from the Kumite and how much fun we had there, we got to make it happen because we had a lot of fun and we got a lot of really good momentum from the whole thing. So
we gotta go. Good responses.
Yeah, we had almost like 200
comments
on that YouTube video. It was pretty cool seeing people participate during the tournament that we're watching from home. So we really appreciate that.
And so far, we've had some high-level people participate in our live streams, which is cool. We've had Keenan Cornelius. We've had
Riley Bodycomb.
Yeah, Riley Bodycomb. Bourdain. Bourdain.
The guy that runs 5 Grappling.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember his name.
Diane Henson.
Choke Boys were on there.
Oh yeah, Choke Boys were on there. Jake Cash.
Boys, which was awesome. So.
Yeah. Lots of people. All right, so let's get this debate started. Do we have a volunteer for going first?
I'll go first.
All right.
All right,
so, Mike. Here we go. I got the time. You've got 1 minute. You ready?
Yes.
Combach.
All right. My outlook is I started training in 1997, so my outlook is old school. I come from an era where when you would see a blue belt on the mats, it was equivalent to seeing a black belt. That's how good a blue belt was back then. You would see a blue belt and your jaw would drop in the 90s. I'm 90s jiu-jitsu, okay? And back then, to get your blue belt, you had to be top level. It wasn't there was no belts being passed out. There was a still small group of people in America still doing it. It wasn't that big yet, so it was hard to get. Nowadays, it's a little more watered down stuff like that. But back then, to get a blue belt, you had to bust your ass. And if you're a purple belt, you're pretty much were like probably the top grappler in America at the time in the 90s. That's how hard. That's how rare belts were at the time. And I came up in an era that to earn that belt, you had to bust your butt. And when you did earn that belt, you wore it with pride. You wore it with there was a lot of meaning to that belt.
Time.
Damn.
Cut you off. All right, hold that thought. Emile, you ready?
Now you know where it's coming from.
That's Emile.
Emile, sorry.
It's okay.
All
I'm
right.
ready.
All right, ready? Combate.
Okay, so the belt means something to the individual. It does not mean something as a construct. The reason the belt doesn't mean something as a construct is because of the fact that there are plenty of grapplers that don't hold any belts that are as good as or better than world-class BJJ grapplers. Therefore, the belt is simply an individual construct. If you look at guys like Kazushi Sakuraba, Josh Barnett, or even guys that train at strong style like Vadim, Cody, John Gunther, Stipe, all those guys are beneath purple belt as far as their ranking. But all those guys can compete at a high level and do well. So, at the end of the day, while the belt can mean something to the individual, it's far too individual to say that the belt means something as a construct, as a whole. Also, if you look at how watered down it's become over the past few years, you see black belts that are at the same level as blue belts were at some point.
Good stopping point. Tommy, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right, go.
Okay, so I think the whole belt debate and where you stand on the belt, importance of belts, goes off of, do you have a positive or a negative outlook on promotions in general? As a school owner, I have an extremely positive outlook on belt promotions. I think of it as an excuse to celebrate. I think of it as even a stripe. I think of it as a reason to celebrate a small victory in jiu-jitsu when you do so much losing. White belt all the way up to black belt, we lose, win, lose, win, lose. So those times when your instructor gets to do more than pat you on the back and tell you that you did a good job in practice, those times mean a lot. When you get a stripe, when you get your next belt, I think that that's very important. And then from that, promotions go by way of two things: experience and skill, and a combination of those two. And I have it all figured out here. And
another good stopping point. I keep catching you guys like right at the end of a sentence. So the first round is over. The score is 1 point apiece for everybody. You're doing awesome. All right, everybody's killing it. Mike, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right. Now, do you remember where you left off? You're
Yes.
old.
Yes.
Are you sure?
I'm
Did you
old.
write it down? We're talking about belts and do they matter? Do you
Yes.
remember where you are?
Yes, I do remember.
You're not at your house. Where are you?
I'm at my office.
An undisclosed location.
Undisclosed
Just make
location.
sure that you're not in some stranger's house. All right. You ready?
Yes.
Go.
As I was saying, I come from an old school era of jiu-jitsu where belts were earned they were extremely hard to earn back then. Harder than they are now. I don't think there were 6 to 7 year white belts back then to get your blue belt, and blue belts were forever back then. So it's a different era, and you would defend your belt. Like back then, a blue belt was always defending his belt. Doesn't mean he was always winning, but he was always putting it on the line to defend his belt. Always putting it on the line to defend his belt. If you're a purple belt, you're always putting on the line to defend itself. It doesn't mean you always win. You were always winning at that belt color, but you were proud to have that belt color. Like right now, I'm a brown belt, and I wear that with pride because I put a lot of hard work into it. So, we're saying the belt is a cloth, but to me, it's more than a cloth. It's a part of my life, and I represent that belt. It's like my everyday being a brown belt.
Emile, you ready?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Go ahead.
So just to be clear, the belt can mean a lot to the individual. Your belt can to say that the belt doesn't mean anything would be to say that it doesn't mean something to you, which would simply be a falsehood. But at the same time, we need to also consider psychological toughness as a litmus test. So how long can you stick around in a sport? Look at guys that do catch wrestling. They don't have belts to validate them. They don't need that validation. They don't need an excuse to celebrate. Their excuse to celebrate is when they get the tap from their opponent. So what it comes down to, yes, the belt has to mean something to the individual. My belt means something to me. Your belt means something to you. But again, as a construct, as a higher essence, as a higher thing, the belt doesn't mean anything. It's a piece of cloth. To the individual, it can mean everything. But as a construct, there's too many possible meanings to the belt to really have it mean one thing. Therefore, it doesn't mean anything. All right, you guys can go.
That's good. That's good. You stopped yourself right in it.
We're good.
30 seconds there.
Go
Tommy.
ahead.
I'm ready.
All right.
Okay,
Roll.
so like I said, where I left off was that belt promotions to me can mean a combination of two things: skill and experience / like knowledge. And if you're judging somebody on those two things, then their belt promotion should be legit, and it should be able to. That belt should be able to translate across the landscape of jiu-jitsu, and you shouldn't be embarrassed at your belt level. I think the importance of making belts legit and making belts important is competition. You're going to compete, and I actually would have to say I agree with Emile about the belts as a construct, and belts mean a lot to the individual. I agree with that, and the way that you're going to make belts have a more universal meaning to everyone is through competition. If you're winning and losing at blue belt, losing at purple belt, getting your ass kicked at brown belt.
Time. You needed a couple more seconds there. You'll have to catch it the next round.
That's probably about as far as I've thought this through. So my next minute might not be
Safe. All right, saved by the bell.
All right, I got a question for you guys. And Cody, how about we bump it up to 2.5 minutes now for everybody?
Okay.
All right, so we've
Well, we should even make it interactive if you guys want. We could go off the time if you guys want, so we could
Okay. Yeah.
we could even cut each other off.
You guys feel like you've kind of
What
started your
was that, Emile? I'm sorry.
main points?
I said it seems like a civil conversation. I don't think we're going to cut each other off. So.
Oh no, I know. No, I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Boss,
So
what's your question?
So as far as belts go, we have the personal aspect, and then we have the symbolism across the entire spectrum, which Mill doesn't think is a big deal considering other grappling arts, and Tommy thinks it is a big deal when you consider competition. What about belt rankings when it comes to teaching other students, or starting to teach other people? At what level do you give the reins to somebody?
It's a good question.
Mike,
guys-
we can continue.
Scott's.
Yeah,
No,
Well, I don't think there's like, we live in a day and age right now where, like, I live in Youngstown, Ohio, and there's 7 gyms you can go train jiu-jitsu at. So I don't think we live in that era anymore where you can't go find a place to go train with legit trainers, with legit lineages, with legit backgrounds. You can even go out to the boondocks right now and you make a post and you'll find someone that trains somewhere. You'll find someone with some kind of training somewhere. So you can always find someone to train with. That's the way I look at it right now. You live in a day and age right now where you can live anywhere in America. You can pretty much go find a gym within half hour of where you're at, or at least within those range.
I'd like to touch on this. I've seen guys that hold, blue, purple, brown belt be able to out-teach some black belts that I've seen. If you look at some of the guys that have come up around here, if you look at some of Pablo's guys, Pablo only got his black belt fairly recently, but he's been teaching at Strong Style for a while. And he created some monsters grapplers during that time. He really built these guys up as a meager brown belt. Tommy, are you a brown belt?
Yes,
and you
sir.
have your own gym and you teach, and you've produced some great competitors. So again, the belt doesn't distinguish. I've taught some of my teammates even when I was still a white belt, I've taught them some things that I knew from before that they had simply not experienced. And so when I was rolling with them, we were talking, and they're like, "How'd you just do that to me?" And I showed them how I did it to them, and I taught them something.
I think that you bring up a really interesting point, and I think that this is actually sort of moving away from what we're talking about, but I think it's worth bringing up. Learning from your teammates. I think we all can probably agree that it's a huge, your teammates and your network in jiu-jitsu as far as your improvement and technique is a huge asset to yourself. As far as your improvement in jiu-jitsu goes, and learning those little lessons those little tidbits of information that you get from another white belt or another blue belt, those lessons that blue belt or white belt learned ring so much more true with them because they have just had that aha moment where they see that technique and they really are like in the middle of like having that moment where they understand the concept that maybe they're sharing with you. Whereas like if I were to teach it to somebody, I may be 5 years removed from having that aha moment where I was like, oh wow, I can use my spider guard to stop somebody from passing guard. And sure, I can explain that to somebody, but the passion that another white belt is going to show you how to stop someone from passing with spider guard is going to be so much greater because they feel that victory that they're finally getting with it. So I think that that's really important.
I want to add something to that.
Sure.
And I don't want to insult anyone, but if a black belt shows the technique and a lower belt thinks that it's not correct, how does a lower belt know 100% it's not correct?
Figuring it out for themselves, I think.
You're saying that, Emile, you said you've seen black belts that couldn't teach or squat, but you've seen lower belts that can teach better. But if you're a lower belt, how do you know for sure that the higher belt isn't teaching it correct and it's not you that's wrong?
Well, for starters, I look at the quality of their students. I look at how even at purple or brown belt, most of their students suck. So I know that they're not being taught correctly. That's generally how I judge the quality of an instructor, by the quality of their athletes or their competitors or their jiu-jitsu practitioners. Their jiu-jitsu doesn't hold water against other jiu-jitsu.
I think it's important as well is that instructor giving a move and then saying 1, 2, 3, go, or is he telling you the move? Is he telling you why it works? Is he telling you why it may not work? Is he giving you the pitfalls that you may encounter along the way? I think that's another really important sign of a good instructor that has a clear view on promotion and what it takes to get to the next level. Is somebody that understands why things work, why they don't work, and they're able to articulate those things.
And it's not always the best competitor,
right,
that has that ability. So, like sometimes we look at, some of these best guys and just assume that, based on their own personal success, that they can translate that success into other success. And I think that's where you're kind of going in, Emile, when you're saying that, you've got guys that don't have quite the achievement being able to teach better than these black belts. And I agree with you there. There are certainly, I'm sure there are tons of examples of people without those same list of personal accomplishments that have the ability, like Tommy said, to translate the ins and outs and just be very articulate on the mat in a way that makes sense to other people.
If you look at Freddie Roach, obviously one of the greatest boxing trainers of all time, and you watch his fights, it's kind of messed up, man. He gets beat up really bad in a lot of his fights, and you're like, oh my God, I can't believe that this guy is actually probably the best boxing trainer in history. And based off of his athletic performance in the ring, you wouldn't think that, but that guy's got it going on as far as his
John Donner. It's like John Donner. People talk amazing of his teaching ability, but he's never competed once in his life.
Yep.
I've heard that rolling was a scary, scary experience, though.
So I've heard that too. I've heard Gary Tonin himself. And Eddie Thomas. I've heard that from both.
I'd like to pose a question to the group. Maybe we can go around and answer this one. So let's for a moment pretend like we're all sensei somewhere in our own gym or at a gym somewhere, and we're in charge of promoting white belts to blue belt. What when you're looking at a white belt and you're looking at him down there training with his training partners, and you're thinking, okay, this guy's been around for a little while and he's with the team, he's with the program. What are you thinking about when you're thinking about promoting him to blue belt?
How much money will he give me for his blue belt?
Right.
Right? No, that's not it. That's
Some
not it.
schools
Okay.
maybe.
I'm thinking
Well, I
effort.
get my real answer.
I'm thinking effort. The first thing I'm looking at is effort. Effort.
But
Effort. Is one of the most
So
important
what does effort mean though? Is effort going hard as fuck in the gym? Excuse me, going hard in the gym,
No.
or is it?
Let me
just-
clarify effort. Effort means coming to practice, drilling, paying attention, attempting the techniques, attempting to roll, attempting to best of their ability, putting the effort in. Because everyone's not the same. Everyone is not the same that walks into jiu-jitsu. Some people walk into jiu-jitsu for all different reasons. So as long as everyone's putting the same effort in, I would look at effort. If you're putting the effort in, I think you should be promoted. If you're putting the effort in.
At under Pablo, we got a where he basically decides when he wants to promote someone, and then he gives what he does as a belt test, which is he asks for a series of basically lessons from his student, where his student explains and shows a technique, and obviously at that point, if the student is prepared for the belt that they're testing for, they will understand how to show the techniques on the level that a person of that belt level would have, and the sharpness of their technique and the efficacy of their technique is on that level as well.
I think
So
that's a really interesting point because I've heard that sort of criteria. It's a recurring thing, where I've actually heard that fair amount of gym owners and leaders they actually judge their students on their ability to spread the art and their ability to articulate techniques, not just perform them. So I just find that interesting because that's not the first time I've actually heard of that sort of form of belt test. So
I think that if I was evaluating somebody for their blue belt, that I would want to evaluate them based on their efficiency and technique of the the absolute basics, and their ability to demonstrate it on somebody, a resisting opponent at about their size, demonstrate the capability to perform it live rolling.
now, so
Bare minimum,
So there's also, and I think this is sort of where we're getting into the debate with belts and how much they matter, is what stick, if I'm a white belt, what stick am I being measured against? Am I being measured against where I started, where I was when I started? Am I being measured against my classmates who started with me? Or am I being measured against other blue belts in the class, and am I now able to compete with them, or is it a combination of all three? So that's sort of, I think that's kind of where our debate's stemming from, is like, what are we being judged by? And it's actually not, I don't know. Is it our fault that we're not sure? Is it Helio Grace's fault?
Here's the problem. What happens when you take a blue belt world champion and you put him against an average black belt who trains once every couple of days?
the black
take
belt
someone who
is
doesn't.
for rimble load.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I look at it like this. I'm a fairly average blue belt, I think. When I roll with other blue belts, some of them I do well against, some of them I don't do well against. But there have been people of upper belts that I've rolled against and done much better than I expected. And does that mean that their belt doesn't mean anything? Does that mean that their belts is somehow degraded or downgraded? I don't think so. I think that the belt doesn't mean as much as the individual. And because it doesn't mean as much as the individual, what does it actually mean? What about a catch wrestler? What about Kazushi Sakuraba? What about Josh Barnett? What about Anthony Pettis, who at blue belt armbarred Benson Henderson?
Okay, can I answer that?
Sure.
Okay. You just because you beat a higher belt does not make you at their knowledge of being a higher belt. Doesn't mean you've gone through the path that they've gone through. All you did was beat them. That's all you did. You did not walk the path they did to get to that belt. That's all it is. If you beat a higher belt, it doesn't mean anything. It's just a moment in time where you beat someone. If you do the belt the correct way, where you put in your time through each belt, it doesn't matter who you lose to. You could. I mean, if you went and grappled with Hilo Gracie, 9 years old, a white belt, athletic white belt, will beat him. Does that mean does that mean that they're not even the same class? It's just grappling is just competing is just one part of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. It's one small part of it. That's all it is. It's just one small part. There's the learning part, the putting time in, the driving to class, going to seminars, spending your hard-earned money. There's a whole facet around that.
I can tell you this much, that I see like Instagram videos of 13, 14-year-old kids rolling, and some of them are world champions at their age, and I don't think I could beat them. I'm like, man, I probably couldn't pass that little kid's guard. I'd be like, I wouldn't roll with that kid in front of anybody or for fear of losing.
But they don't have the same time knowledge put in.
Right.
So does that downgrade BJ Penn for having gotten his black belt within 3 years? Does that downgrade guys that get it super fast? Because there are guys that get it fast.
But there's very few though.
They're on that accelerated timeline.
Just like you say, Josh Barnett and Sakuraba. And Josh Barnett has done gi tournaments and he's lost the high level black belt.
He's technically a black belt now.
Yes.
Well, technically.
Yeah. But I think Josh Barnett trolls a little bit with the whole jiu-jitsu thing too. He also trolls with it a little bit.
Just like Robert does, but
Yeah.
let's be honest. I mean, neither one of these guys holds a belt.
No. Josh Barnett is a black belt. I believe he's a Machado black belt through Eric Paulson.
Sure. Honorary.
He does have the. He does
Where did
have.
he get his brown belt from?
Yeah.
They're all Paulson through Machado. I think all CSW goes through Machado. I'm pretty sure that's how it is.
He's got the Oprah Winfrey honorary doctorate.
He's got the certificate. It's on his wall. But what I'm just saying that if I think Emile is coming from because he's younger and he competes a lot, and I think he's coming from that. I think you're coming from that point because you're out there, you're destroying higher belts, so automatically the belt means nothing.
No,
But
that's not what I said. There are guys that know much more than me who I can destroy, but who know much more than me. So I'm not downgrading somebody else just because of the fact that I'm younger, more athletic, whatever. You know, if I have 50 pounds on you and 10 years on you, then yeah, chances are I'm going to probably do better than if we were the same size, the same age. So don't get that twisted. What I'm saying is that the belt is not necessarily an indicator of what you're about to encounter.
I have a question for you guys. So whether or not we know exactly the meaning of the belt, what should the belt mean? Should it mean something? Should I be able to look across the room and see a blue belt and know where he is, know where a purple belt is, or should it be the way it is? And is it our fault as parts of the community that we haven't either corrected this problem, we'll call it, or is it whose fault is it that we don't know where we are? I mean, like other disciplines have a lot more of a regimented and measurable judo even has in judo the same thing is that there's black belts and then there's black belts, but in judo they have a better way to measure progress, I think, than we do in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. And whose fault is that?
I don't know, but you were mentioning blue belts and what to expect.
Right.
I feel like I have a better idea of what to expect from a blue belt than the higher you get.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I feel like it gets cloudier when you get to brown belt, black belt, instead of blue belt, because most blue belts have been training about the same amount of time, so you've got a pretty good idea of what they know. If they're young and athletic looking, you can kind of expect, okay, this is going to be crazy for a couple minutes, but you get brown and black belts that are, like you said, in judo. You've got the regular brown and black belts. It's the guy that's been training for 10 years, finally got his brown belt. You look across the mat and you're not sure if it's that guy or if it's a guy that just won worlds at brown belt.
Right.
I think it's a lot harder to tell what you're going to encounter at brown and black than it is at blue, just based on the whole time in factor and where their personal jiu-jitsu journey throughout life has taken them. If they've been super dedicated to competing, that brown belt is a lot different than somebody that started at the age of, I don't know, whatever age, and it took them 10 years to get there. So I think it's a lot easier to judge or, prejudge a blue belt based on their appearance.
True. What should belts mean?
You know what? I'm usually the people that I hear that say belts don't mean anything are people that are either still white belts, they don't do too much gi, or they've had issues with other things with training, with either with instructors or stuff like that. That's like I haven't heard too many purple belts saying that a belt doesn't mean too much. I just haven't heard too many purple. It's usually blue or white. I've heard people say that doesn't mean nothing. 'Cause I think I think that they haven't had enough time in. I think that once they get that a higher belt, like that 4 stripe on the blue belt or purple belt, it changes. It changes. It seems like the higher the belt goes, the more it means. I think it's just a time in thing to realize it. I could be wrong, but I feel like it's a time in thing that you realize it.
The higher the belt goes, it doesn't eliminate the reality that there are other grappling arts out there that don't have a belt system that are just as effective. So
I'm talking more Brazilian jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu.
Sorry, you look at the origin of the belt system. I was having a conversation online today with Dan Swift on the comments on the post there.
Did he call in? We got to get him on here.
Nothing good comes from that.
Yeah.
It was good. It was very civil. Anyway, so he made a comment about how people have been defending their belts, since ancient history, and I pointed out that the belt system has really only been around for about 100 years. And before that, when people train martial arts, they trained to train, not for the belt, not for the validation. They didn't need the excuse to celebrate. What they were looking for was real-time skill. And I think that a big part of it is a culture of instant gratification, a culture of wanting validation from your instructor. It's nice to get validation from another person, but what if we change the belt to little smiley face keychains of different colors? Then that would mean everything.
That would be really funny if that's what belts were actually in jiu-jitsu, is like like a little keychain with like a little peak, like a Pokemon on it or something.
You see some upper belt has like a whole thing hanging.
Yeah.
No, but I understand. I just think that it's the more you train. Let me clear Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I'm not going to talk about like catch wrestling or like 10 planer. I'm just talking about more about Brazil. I just think if like the contracts of Brazilian jiu-jitsu, the belt system, the stripes, if you go through all that, the time that you put in, there's a lot of meaning to it. And yes, it's been watered down lately. You can tell from people. I mean, people get their belts via the UPS. It doesn't get any more watered down than that. It doesn't. I know people were mad at us for posting that last time, but I don't agree with getting your belt through the UPS. I don't consider that a real belt.
I actually earned 2 blue belts. I got my blue belt from Phil Miglarice and Bobby Palumbi out here, and then I went back to the school I was training at in Philadelphia. I was there for college at the time, and I went back after the summer, and I had a blue belt, and my instructor told me that if you want to train here and you want to really earn your blue belt from me, you need to wear your white belt until I give you a blue belt. And I really wanted to be there at the time, so I took my blue belt off and wore a white belt again for about another 6 months. So I've actually been promoted twice to blue, so I kind of understand.
You sandbagged by force.
I did. I was forcefully sandbagged. That sounded kind of messed up.
Yeah, it did. What were you saying, Emile? Were you about to say something?
Okay, so I have a question for the group before we wrap up. I think we're gonna wrap up with a 60-second rant around the horn. But one question I want to pose to everybody, because we all have a rank in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, and we're all gonna answer. But why are you still a brown belt, blue belt, purple belt? Why are you still at your rank, and why have you not been promoted yet? Personally, be honest with yourself and say, why honestly do I think I am still at my rank? I've been a brown belt for 5 years. So I think about this fairly often. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I still think I have a lot more learning to do. I have a lot more I have to learn more of the drills, more of the philosophy, more of the timing. There's a whole. I may be a brown belt, and I have competed a lot, but I still have big holes in my game. I still have huge holes in my game, and not just competing holes, technique holes. I have a lot of problems with technique that I need to clean up. But that's me personally, being honest.
I guess I'll go next.
Hold on, guys. Skype exploded. Literally, it just crashed. Give me a minute.
Oh,
Man, right when Cody started answering that question, I lost volume.
Oh,
the internet, the internet was.
Skype blew up.
We gotta
So
get
we have Emile.
Get Emile back.
yeah, we gotta get him back.
Calling
We'll
him.
wait. We're gonna wait. We've got a little bit of a delay, folks.
Yeah, it just like as soon as Cody started, it said Skype crashed. And I was just like, oh, where'd he
Are
go?
we live right now?
Oh yeah, we're back. I just need to add him.
We've got a lot of bits and pieces to cut out of this one.
Yeah,
It's okay. Listen, I got something I want to say. If you're gonna steal the BJJ Hours memes, you need to cite that shit. Give credit where credit's due, and just share our stuff. Don't make your own meme.
Yeah.
All right.
We're fucking meme geniuses. Deal with it, internet. BJJ,
Listen,
their website.
I thought I had skills. Mijas has skills. He's a horse. And if you're not gonna acknowledge this dude's hard work and how bad I think he's probably ripping off his employer right now because I see him on Facebook all day. Hopefully none of his coworkers listening.
Yeah. How about we edit that out?
His office looks pretty organized though. He looks like he's got his thing together. So
Thank you.
let me call you guys. Let me call you everybody right back. All right.
sounds good.
Hello.
All right, I got you. All right, let me add the other guys. Skype like literally crashed right as Cody started.
Yeah, I saw Cody was talking, and then all of a sudden he stopped. My video's now turned off?
No, it's fine. You're on. You're on.
Okay.
We got everybody but Tommy.
Is there a steam locomotive running in the background somewhere?
Oh, that's my fan.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. It sounds like
What?
Thomas Train.
Man,
Sounds the tank engine.
I live.
Okay, Emile's back. Welcome back, Emile.
yeah, I don't know what just happened.
Emile,
Well,
we can't
we
do
figured
a
the whole thing
normal
out.
show without something not bad happening.
We figured the whole thing out while you were gone. We're pretty much done now.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I think my room might be so hot that my computer's having problems, but who knows?
You broke everything.
Emile, the BJJ Hour does not do a show like straight through. We always have to have some kind of problem. You start late or something.
Yeah, you keep switching the link so that.
Oh, talk to these three here about switching the link.
Thanks a lot, by the way. That really made me look professional.
Yeah, well.
YouTube made some changes. It's hard to keep up.
It wouldn't be Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu
If it was perfect.
if it was organized. If we had our shit together, it would be a judo podcast.
This is like a jiu-jitsu tournament.
But we would hate MMA.
This is your average jiu-jitsu tournament.
Okay, so we were in the middle of answering the question, why are you still at your current rank? Cody is a purple belt.
I have been a purple belt for 3.5 years. I am still a purple belt because for the past year and a half, I have trained once a week.
But you
And
did compete in a tournament and win it about what 6 months ago.
like 8 months ago, and since then I've trained 8 times 4, so I've trained 32 times since then. I competed a lot, like a lot when I first got my purple belt. I
Against
feel
me?
like conceptually, I feel like I understand a lot of things better that I do or than I did when I first got my purple belt. But as far as actually being able to apply the techniques going live, that my timing is just so far off right now that it would take a considerable amount of work to get back to a level that I feel would be acceptable to earn a brown belt at. So I feel like I'm still learning, just in a different way. But I definitely would have to really start training hard again in order to get to the next level. And eventually I will do that.
Cody, let me ask you a question off of that. So, do you think that the need to make that real commitment to train harder and be better to get to the next level, is that something that your instructor needs to see, or is that something that you feel you need to do for yourself, or is it sort of a combination of both?
Well, my instructor is going to be listening, and he's going to text me.
What's up?
I think it's something that it's something that I need to do, and it's something that I realize. It's just, I've kind of just moved away from it a little bit. I know it's there. I know it'll come back. It's just going to take a little bit of time.
Well, you're sharpening a different sword right now, because I see you in the gym lifting like a beast. So
Yeah.
you're sharpening a different sword. It's okay.
So that's my reason, not training enough.
Well, as far as my promotion goes, I've been in brown. Oh, now my dogs are barking. Hey, no.
Talking to each other through Skype.
Cody, our dogs need to start their own podcast together so that they can be out of our hair whenever we're doing ours. So I've traditionally, since the beginning of my life, been a terrible competitor in athletic applications. I always am looking for a reason to leave, a reason to quit, a reason to not have to do it. And I think that is the main reason why I'm still a brown belt 5 years. Been training since about 2004, and I've never been a good competitor, but me being a poor competitor has turned me into being shy about competing. And my coach, Baga Ramos, he's a third degree under the ATT affiliation. He wants me to do a IBJJF tournament this year. I'm looking at like Georgia or the Atlanta Open or the Chicago Open. And I think really because I've trained with him a lot and he knows where I am, I think he just really wants to see me get out there and, draw my weapons against another brown belt. And being that I'm 29 years old now, I'm going to be in there with, 18, 19, 20-year-old brown belts. So I'm not terribly optimistic about my progress or about my success at the division, but I do have the advantage of experience and over those guys, some of those guys. So we'll see. But I think mainly for me, my promotion is lack of competition experience. I competed once at purple belt. I've competed 3 times at brown belt in 5 years, and so the measuring stick for me, it's hard to really see where I am as far as measuring against. And I get tapped by white belts, and I get tapped by blue belts, and everyone in between. So. Sometimes I wake up in the morning, I don't know really where I am. And I do want to give a quick shout out to Valerie Worthington. She has a really good article about belt promotion, and she says that every single day she trains, she wishes more and more that instead of a black belt, she could just tie her gi with clear packing tape. Which kind of speaks
together a lot better.
It would. And no one would be able to like worm guard you or anything. So I'm thinking that might be a good strategy. But it kind of speaks to the thing that belts, sometimes they do mean something. But sometimes when they mean something, it can be a real pain in the ass for the person wearing.
I love having a big target on my back and everyone trying to murder me.
Yeah.
Personally, I love it.
Yeah, but everybody knows you already, Mike. So Tommy, you got Alex Wallace to train for IBJJF with, so you don't got to worry about the 19, 20-year-olds. You could probably break them in half.
Yeah.
All right, Mel, let's hear yours.
As far as the reason I'm still a blue belt, it's because Pablo has to put a different color or something else around my waist. That's I don't really think about it. I train every day. I don't care what color the belt of the other person sitting across from me is. Once we bump hands, I'm trying to rip something off, and hopefully you're trying to rip something off, and one of us taps, and that's it. It's good times. I don't train for the belt. I train for the skills. I train for the blood, sweat, and tears, and to become a better person. If I get a different color belt, very cool.
So if gun to your head, you had to answer the question, what do you need to do to get your purple belt?
Put more time in at Strong Style. I've only been at Strong Style for a year, and I've already been promoted during that time. So I would imagine that Pablo wants to see me a bit more before he considers me for any other promotion.
But I want to have this conversation again when you get your purple belt. I think you're going to change your mind a little bit.
And that purple belt's going to be worth the blood, sweat, and tears. So it's worth something.
I think it's
not as an overall,
on you,
but
a little bald
it's
guy's
worth
gonna
blood,
pop
sweat,
in
and
there,
tears.
like,
It'll keep my gi closed. It'd be really good to keep my gi closed, and
But not as good as clear pack material.
I prefer that, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
That or I like rolling without a belt on. I like just coming in, and if somebody asks me why I'm not wearing a belt, I tell them, haven't earned it today.
I forgot my belt actually this morning in practice. We trained outside, and I left my belt at the dojo, so I was training without a belt today. And I'm not gonna lie, I got my ass kicked today in my own backyard, and I actually blamed it completely on the fact that I wasn't wearing my brown belt. I had special powers from it.
I have a lot of excuses when I lose. I have a whole slew of excuses.
Sure.
I'm pretty
I got
good
my ass beat today in my own backyard. It was not fun.
Ready to go. So, all right, Steph, what about you?
I'm not consistent. My problem. I haven't been able to train consistently for a long time, so hopefully that'll change soon and start visiting Tommy a bit more. But yeah, consistency. It's kind of dumb because I'll go back to training once every couple months or whatever. Well, I can't now back in Youngstown, and some white belts will roll with me, and then they're wondering why nothing that they learned in the past few months or whatever is really working. I just kind of have to tell them I've been doing this for a little while longer than I probably should. It's just consistency. Gotta keep getting. I have to just be more consistent. That's all.
But I actually really like, thinking back, I really like everyone's answer because we actually all gave a different answer. I need more competition experience. Cody was, I need to commit more. Stephanus was, I need to be more consistent. Mike's like, I need more knowledge. And Emile needs to be more attrition. He needs to be there more. He needs to, show the commitment to his gym and be, put in more time so his instructor knows him better. So it kind of speaks to the fact that we all we're all sort of in this wash, and none of us are really sure why we're getting promoted or why we're not getting promoted. We have hunches and we have different reasons, but there's so much going on in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at all times that, you just ultimately the best advice is, I think, to keep your head down and just train.
But I'll tell you what, I have
because the belt doesn't matter.
What? Say that, Emile? What?
Because the belt really doesn't matter. It's the training that matters.
Well, I disagree with that. But honestly, God, if I was to end my career as a brown belt, I have no problem being a brown belt the rest of my life. I have no problem doing that. I have no problem. I have no problem being a brown, because I think that's where my level's at. So that's why I wouldn't mind ending. I would have no problem doing jiu-jitsu. I was 60, 70. That's like a couple years from now. But I have no problem just ending at a brown belt. I don't need a black belt. I don't. If my instructors think I should have it, that's a different thing, and I'll wear it proudly and I'll defend it proudly. But as of now, I have no problem ending my career as a brown belt. I have no problem.
When you see a hole in the side of Next Level appear in the shape of a man, that's Mike running away from his black belt promotion.
Yeah, most likely.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want it.
The Kool-Aid man busting out.
I cross-train too much. I mean, the target's big enough as it is. So.
All right, so let's go around the horn, give the shout-outs you need to give out, and we're going to sign off, boys. I'm going to give a shout-out to all my training partners at High Ground Jiu-Jitsu, everyone at the Mad Factory, Isaac Greeley, Eddie Vincent, I'm gonna be up there at wrestling camp next week. I can't wait to see all you guys.
I'm gonna give a shout out to my dogs for being quiet
Good doggy.
for the last couple minutes so that we can pull this episode off. Yeah, thanks.
I'm gonna give a shout out to everyone at Next Level and my instructor James Shalecki, who has been through me with thick and thin, and that's it. Shout out to everyone at Next Level.
I'm going to give a shout out to Tony Grappling Gear, PCGG, for being the best sponsor in the world. To Pablo Angel Castro III for being the best coach. And to Strong Style Brasa for being the best team I've ever been on. And also to the BJJ Hour for having me on to troll you guys.
No, thank you to all you guys. Thanks for coming on, Emile. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for coming on, Emile.
This is episode 44, so we're almost at we're less than 10 away from a year's worth of episodes.
We gotta start doing more shows.
Yeah.
It's like Seinfeld up in here.
Yeah. You know, this wouldn't be possible without, everybody that listens, everybody that likes our pages. Mike making all the memes, Cody managing a lot of like the website and everything, Tommy helping out with the marketing stuff and everything else. And
Quick congratulations to my dog Rocco. He just got his blue belt actually. He recently promoted. He's been training hard, really working in the gym.
Ask him what the belt means to him.
It means treats.
Oh man.
Oh, you heard it. What? Treats? Uh-oh.
All right. So
We're gonna do this episode again when Emile gets his purple and his he will have changed his mind.
I think next time we're gonna try to get Dan Swift on here and Eddie Vincent and see how that goes down.
Yeah, I definitely want to get Eddie on here because he has a crazy history that a lot of people don't know about training with Walt Bailiff. I'd love to hear his story. And he trains with our good buddy Isaac Freely. But I definitely want to get Eddie on here. So Tommy, you have to put that.
Yeah, Isaac's gotta get him on. If there's anybody that's gonna do a favor, if Eddie's gonna do anything for anybody, it's Isaac. So I know Eddie's a pretty solitary dude and he likes to keep to himself, but we gotta get him on here for sure.
Yeah.
Steph, sign us off.
You follow us on Instagram, the BJJ Hour, on Twitter, BJJ Hour. Like our Facebook page, subscribe to our new YouTube page, and yeah, we're gonna try to get back into it. I have a day job now, so we can probably do weekday shows and get back into it. So everybody, train hard, go easy on your partners, don't hurt anybody, have fun, have a good week. See ya.
Good night.